especially when it seems like the people that make the greatest strides are those that suffer the most, because they're egos. It takes a tremendous ego. So, you know, you've got a little ego there. You think you're a legislator for refinement. You want everybody to be nice.
And I think that religion and all Zennism is to prevent the recurrence of the...
Watch how they wind up. Watch how those beautiful religions wind up. The bloodiest wars on this planet were, in ancient times, were fought by religious people. The Crusades, for instance, sent out children to be butchered so that God changed his mind. This was stupidity because they didn't really know what God wanted.
But you used the Bible before. What about the verse that says God is love? Where do you fit that in, or do you?
I don't fit it in. Somebody else fitted it in. Yeah.
Might you consider, however, that in some circumstances, that engaging in acts of cruelty or engaging in could be a distraction and a waste of energy, and on that basis, you should refrain and avoid from engaging in activity like that?
How are you going to do it when nations are doing it? See, this is the whole thing.
I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. What I'm saying is, should we refrain from activity like that because...
Well, we're not doing this. This is nonsense. We're not crowding the ozone layer. This is the human race that's doing it.
And it happens.
Yes, but are you going to change it with your talk? You think your talk is going to change that, or my talk is going to change it? Or you think that happiness is going to give you spiritual? We're talking about spiritual enlightenment now, not politics. Well, you can't be talking about spiritual enlightenment. You don't know what it is. You don't know whether planting carrots or killing rabbits is going to take you to heaven. This is silly. You can't. You're trying to instruct the world. This is a madhouse. This is a madhouse. You might as well relax. We're trying to do something, find a definition of why this is a madhouse. I'm not saying, I'm saying to one person, if you want to get ahead, then you watch your energy. I'm not saying to the masses, they can do what they please. But because the simple fact I know that I have there's no benefit. Humanity will not benefit from me telling them to do something when they're programmed for a toboggan ride downhill. And this is the reason that I make the effort I do, is because people of their own do not try to go after the truth. They try to adapt society to their desires. And they go where they can get favorable answers. And they associate with people that flatter them. But that isn't the truth, see? And if you have a child growing up and he wants to live in or she wants to live in a fairy tale land, and you let the child do it, then you'll live to regret it, because you know, the child will never be interested in being honest with people or honest with himself or herself. See? If the person is not trying to logically work this out, but trying to take and force their mental picture onto somebody else, then they have to be the one that will see the foolishness of it. My advice in the little pamphlet is to meditate upon your troubles, not upon your pleasure. And people meditate. I used to see fellows that take acid or something and sit and meditate, and they'd be happy, real happy. And I think they were dialing heaven. You know, they were getting in there, another pill, and they'd be one of the archangels. And this is an exaggeration, of course, about what almost everybody does in meditation. They want to relax. They come home from work, perhaps, and they want to go into a posture and relax and think of niceness. No, what's holding up your personality and your life is the negative things that's happened to you. And there's a lot of stuff written on meditation. That's the reason I wrote that pamphlet, is because it's not good sense. It's not good sense to meditate on pleasure if you want to know who you are. And after you correct yourself, you'll say, hey, I'm not as important as I thought I was. If you were studying with me, I would tell you how I thought you could do things that would expedite. And some of them have to do with the loss of energy, not to lose any energy. You need all of your energy to do this. You're going to walk through death, so you'll need some vitality. And there are things. The other thing is the truth. And I'm not saying that you have to be a fanatic and tell every policeman that when you're doing 1 mile over the speed limit. See, that type of truth is not what we're talking about. We're talking about trying to find the reality behind life. What is this? Are we just animals moping around giving ourselves sensational ideas of life after death and sensational promises and sensational hopes and saying all we have to do is believe? Believe isn't it. You got to know. You got to know what you can do. My case will not be your case. Everybody, I can't say, stand on your head 2 hours a day, eat marmalade or drink cider or that sort of thing, and you're going to, don't eat meat, don't kill any little animals. That has nothing to do with it. Has nothing to do with it at all. But you will devise a system for yourself that will be accurate, just by backing away from the foolish, backing away from the things that distract you. And so consequently, I think that this is what a person has to do if they want to do anything with their mind, is to work. Don't say, hey, I'm going to go in there. I've had people say this to me. I'm going to give this 1 year, and if I'm not enlightened in a year's time, I'm leaving. And some of them did. You can't do that. It's almost like let's take the possibility that there's a deity listening, and he says that guy isn't fighting, I don't want him. See, something of that sort. But that's a conclusion you can draw, that there's a force that he runs contrary to. His thing is, you fight without any promise. You fight for this or death. And if you have that determination, I'm sure that you can make it. This is a shot in the dark. This lecture is a shot in the dark. I know about Zen. I've experienced things in it, and perhaps there's a lot of books on Zen, but there's stuff you don't get from the books, and that's the action. And so I'm just furnishing information. That's all. I can't, and it doesn't mean give you the minute by minute or day by day methods of things, but the truth of the matter is, I don't think I believe that there's a very small percentage of people that's interested. I think religion is easy, but a real struggle with yourself to reach a thing by yourself, it's very difficult. So there's a very small percentage of the people. But so I'm not disappointed if people don't. What it is, there's to do anything spiritual, in the spiritual sense, immediately causes antagonism. And that's the animal body is fighting back. Don't block me. Don't block the animal body saying, hey, that may not be true, or, we can do this and that too. See? Yeah, so it's, I've realized that occasionally somebody comes along and says, I know what you're talking about, and that's the reward. So I'm not disappointed if I don't get people that say they know what I'm talking about. It'd be nice, but that's the first truth I have to live with. See? I can talk, but that doesn't mean that it's going to...
We'll get that.
We'll get that. Yeah.
Well, that's the end of the formal lecture, I think. Questions?
Thank you.